Hey all, Ron here, DYB coach, a painting contractor. Do you have one of those employees, or did you have one of those employees who are really below the line? They're actually hurting the culture of your business. They're late all the time, they have excuses for everything, and they actually are great workers, but they're not good for your company. I want to share a story with you, and I want to also let you know the steps we did to correct this. And maybe this will help you in your journey as a painting contractor. What we take above the line philosophy, and if you've been around DYB, you kind of know what that is that we don't like excuses. You have to own your own actions. So anyways, once again, I'm Ron Ramsden. I am also a contractor up here in New England, but I'm also a coach at DYB. My story, I'll try to make it quick, but if you know me, it doesn't always happen that way. Well, we had part of our employees, we have male and female. We had one male who kind of liked one of the females, and she wasn't interested in him, but he bothered her about this. And he bugged her, and it got a little out of hand, and she called me one day and said, hey, listen, I can't work like this. So that was my first experience with something like this happen. And you know we're in a different culture right now. We're in a different world where this is the forefront, and we have to take this by the horns. So I talked to a lawyer who's in one of my networking groups. Very nice of him just to take the phone call and kind of direct me. And what he said is you have to confront both parties separately. And then if they want to talk it, you can be the mediator, and that wasn't going to happen. And then you have to make sure that someone owns up to it, at least acknowledges the conversation. So I went to the female. I talked to her for a bit, and then I confronted the male, and I did have a witness. I brought one of the crew leaders who know him well into the conversation, and he kind of knew what was going on anyways. I wanted a second witness. I didn't know how he was going to handle this. So anyways, we had the conversation. He denied everything, but I told him he had to at least sign a paper that said that we had this conversation, and he said he wouldn't sign it if he was admitting to guilt. But I said it wasn't about admitting to anybody's guilt. It was just it was admitting that we had that this conversation did happen. So anyways, that happened. A couple weeks later, everything seemed to be okay. They were working along. They said they were going, and it happened again. Well, once again, that's strike two. We had the same conversation. We separated them in crews so they didn't work together anymore. But secondly, some of the other issues we had was the person was he was a crew leader, so we had a truck. He was continuously late, excuses on everything, and it went on and on. And you might have someone like that also. Maybe you have someone who has excessive absenteeism for no excuses. Maybe they're late on Mondays. Maybe they're late the day after payday, or they don't come in a day after payday, and they have different excuses for different things they have. Well, I'm going to tell you what you have to do. Step one, if you don't have an employee handbook, DYB can help, but if you do not have an employee handbook, you need an employee handbook. And the reason for this is when you have an employee handbook, you give these all to your employees, have them read it, and have a sign page where they can sign, they acknowledge that the employee handbook and what's in it. It's depending on how you write it, it could take care of cell phone policies, truck policies, absenteeism, earned time, which vacation time. It has everything that you would have to, including sexual harassment in there these days. It has everything that's important to your company, your rules in the company, and it makes a culture that you want to work with, and it's great for the company. So secondly, so you have the signed employee manual for everybody. And like I said, if you don't have one, we can help you get one of those at no charge. After the initial issue, be it someone being late a second time, or it's habitual lateness, you have to have a conversation with the person and remind them that this isn't good for the company, and you can count that. We can also recite the employee handbook, or just refer to the employee handbook. When they're late the next time, you have to write them up, and this is hard. I had a hard time writing someone up for small infractions, but I'm going to tell you, small infractions turn into very large infractions. So on that one, you would say that they were late, they've been warned, this is their first warning, and they sign it, and then you sign it. If they don't want to sign it, you can just sign it, say refuse to sign, but date it. Put this in their employee file. If you have an electronic employee file where you scan everything and it's in a secured place, that's great for the techie people. If you're someone like me, it's in a manila envelope locked in a file cabinet because that's all personal information. So, and then if that happens again, number 2, it's you have them sign it, acknowledge it, and then number 3 is 3 strikes rule. 3 strikes, you're out. Depending on the issue that you're dealing with. If it's lateness, maybe it's a little longer, maybe it's you suspend them for a day or 2, whatever it is. But if you have things in your employee manual, a handbook, and they're violating those, you have to write them up. It's hard at first, but believe me, it's great for the culture of your company. And secondly, if you do something like this and you actually have to let someone go, you have a history of why they were fired, just in case they do go for unemployment and you want to go and contest the unemployment claim. In some cases, that paperwork you have, including that they acknowledge this was a violation of the employee handbook, that you'll be covered in that. I can't say that for all states. Massachusetts could be the exception, but that backed up paperwork will save you a lot of time and frustration. Plus, the culture of the company, they will know that you mean business. And not mean business in a bad way, but mean business that you're not being taken advantage of. Because if you're being taken advantage of, someone else is going to see that. And when you say something, no one's going to believe it's going to happen. So that's my little story about how to handle an employee issue. Keep the culture up in your company. I'm Ron Ramsden, DYB coach. If I can help, or if you have any questions, I'd love to hear about it. Comment below here. I'd love to hear about your employee issues if you've had any and how you handle them. If you ever want to jump on a call or send a message, you can find me at ron@dybcoach.com. Find me on Facebook, send me a message. We can always jump on a call and we can talk soon. So anyway, smooth sailing with your employees. Employee handbook, once again, if you don't have one, you need some help with one, we have some templates we're more than happy to get over to you. Once again, Ron here, DYB coach. Have a great one.